Techno, toujours pareil. Boum boum dans les oreilles. Musique de défonce-man. Pas de message normal, rien à dire. Techno, toujours pareil. Boum boum dans les oreilles. Musique de défonce-man. Pas de message normal, rien à dire. Techno, toujours pareil. Boum boum dans les oreilles. Musique de défonce-man. Pas de message normal, rien à dire. Techno, toujours pareil. Boum boum dans les oreilles. Musique de défonce-man. Pas de message normal, rien à dire. Techno, toujours pareil. Boum boum dans les oreilles. Musique de défonce-man. Pas de message normal, rien à dire.
You know, young rich niggas. You know, so we ain't really never had no old money.
This dark sky, I know that we can make it bright. I promise if you're right with me, we'll find a better place to be.
Baby, you know I ride for you.
Drive all night and soak up all the city lights. I promise if you're right with me, we'll find a better place to be.
You can ride around the world with me. Yeah, you can ride around the world with me. You know I be on some fly shit. Hero in the nighttime, I just need my sidekick. Sexy in that leather with the tight fit. Try to get between us, I'ma start a riot. Look how she roll it up. There ain't no room in this two-seater, you can't roll it up. It's getting hot up in the city, but don't keep it tucked. I put that tennis on your neck, make sure you cold enough.
This dark sky, I know that we can make it bright. I promise if you're right with me, we'll find a better place to be.
Baby, you know I ride for you.
Drive all night and soak up all the city lights. I promise if you're right with me, we'll find a better place to be.
You can ride around the world with me. Yeah, you can ride around the world with me. Sadie, hop in that black Mercedes. I'm drifting like it's rainy. Baby, she strapped safety. You catch me falling, save me. I ball you out McGrady. Them haters plotting, waiting. Don't ever do me shady. Looking at
This dark sky, I know that we can make it bright. I promise if you're right with me, we'll find a better place to be.
Test. Hello.
baby, you know I ride for you.
Find a better place to be.
Yeah, you can ride around the world with me.
This dark sky, I know that we can make
y la botella por arriba. Siempre la movie la tenemos prendida. Vengo a mandar hasta que se haga de día. Sigo rolito que es la mía. Salió el sol, un gol. Prime la boca y el alcohol.
Trifles more than this. Will you still recall my name and the month it all began? Will you release me with a kiss? Have I tried to draw the veil? If I have, how could I fail? Did I fear the consequence? Dazed by careless words, cozy in my mind. Wax, fitted out with greater cracks, sweet devotion, my delight. Oh, you're such a pretty one, and the naked thrills of flesh and skin would tease me through the night. And I hate to leave you bare. If you need me, I'll be there. Don't you ever let me down. Dazed by careless words, cozy in my mind. I don't mind, I feel so. I will let you go. I don't mind, I feel so. I will let you go. And I touched your face, narcotic mindful lace. Mary Jane. And I called your name like an addicted to cocaine. Calls all the stuff you'd rather blame. And I touched your face, narcotic mindful lace. Mary And I call your name, Michael Kidd.
Crisscross. I want to bust a right now. Early in the morning.
Your lips, your ass, your waist. That bad look on your face. Girl, let me get a taste. Oh, na, 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 na.
Wow.
You say that you gotta go home, man. You'll hit me at the right moment. Oh, na, 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 na. So I say, girl, call me up when you wanna get naked. Drop me a line and I'm on my way. Yeah, you bring a friend, we can stay up late till early in the morning. Girl, call me up when you wanna get naked. Drop me a line and I'm on my way. Yeah,
proper shift. Going the extra mile, I bet you never forget it. Hard work, sweat a trip. Satisfy your body, you're my life blanket. Come when I'm calling. What you need is right here, darling. All night till the morning. Keep you wetter than the window when the rain is falling.
Girl, call me up when you wanna get naked. Drop me a line and I'm on my way. Yeah, you bring a friend, we can stay up late till early in the morning. Girl, call me up when you wanna get naked. Drop me a line and I'm on my way. Yeah, bring a friend, we can stay up late till early in the morning.
In the morning. Chill over.
And I'll count down the seconds till I wake up in your bed. I'm counting down, down, down.
If you're ready, let's move it. Sexy, let's do this. Champagne in the jacuzzi. You got a friend, cool, we could make a movie.
Girl, call me up when you wanna get naked.
Hallo. Ja. Oké.
Get jazzy on 'em. I'm that flight that you get on. International. First class seat on my lap, girl. Riding comfortable. Cause I know what that girl them need. New York to Haiti. I got lipstick stamps on my passport. You make it hard to leave. Been around the world, don't speak the language. But your booty don't need explaining. All I really need to understand is when you talk dirty to me. You talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. You talk dirty to me. Get jazzy on 'em. You know the words in my songs. No habla English. Our conversations ain't long, but you know what is. I know what that girl them want. London to Taiwan. I got lipstick stamps on my passport. I think I need a new one. Been around the world, don't speak the language, but your booty don't need explaining. All I really need to understand is when you talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Met my friend in Rio. She was all on me. We can make now say 3 Oh yeah.
Those cadenas close to genius. Sold out arenas, you can suck my penis. Gilbert Arenas, guns on deck. Chest to chest, tongue on neck. International oral sex. Every picture I take, I pose a threat. Bold and jet, what you expect? Her pussy so good, I bought her a pet. Anyway, every day I'm trying to get to it. Gotta say to my phone on the big booty. Anyway, every day I'm trying to get to it. Gotta say to my phone on the big booty.
Been around the world, don't speak the language, but your booty don't need explaining. All I really need to understand is when you talk dirty to me. You do. Talk dirty to me. Yeah, yeah. Talk dirty to me. Talk to me. Talk dirty to me. Get jazzy on 'em.
What? I don't understand.
get a good feeling. Yeah. Get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling. Yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. Get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling. Yeah. I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Yes, I can. Doubt, better leave. I'm running with this plan. Pull me, grab me, crabs in the bucket can't have me. I'll be the president one day. January 1st. Oh, you like that gossip? Like you the one drinking what gossip.com. Now I got a word for your tongue. How many Rolling Stones you want? Yeah, I got a brand new spirit. Speaking and it's done. Woke up on the side of the bed like I won. Talk like the wind in my chest to that sun. G5 in the US to Taiwan. Now who can say that? I wanna play back. Mama knew I was a needle in a haystack. I'm a body boy, plus way back. I got a feeling it's a rap. ASAP.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling.
The mountain top, walk on water. I got power, feel so royal. 1 second, I'ma strike for you. Diamond, platinum, no more for you. That adrenaline, never giving in. Giving up's not an option, gotta get it in. Witness, I got the heart of 20 men. No fear, go to sleep in the lion's den. That glow, that spark, that crown. You're looking at the king of the jungle now. Stronger than ever, can't hold me down. 100 miles gunning from the pitcher's mouth. Straight game face, it's game day. See me running through the crowd, feeling melee. No trick plays, I'm Bill Gates. Take a genius to understand me.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling. get a good feeling, yeah.
Dat is te fel. Dus. Ja, correct.
Hello? Yeah.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I hope you all made it well to here. Yes. My name is Robin, and this is my colleague Cindy. And we are part of the M crew. We all have a hoodie from the M crew, so you can recognize us by our hoodie. So there are also still other members from the M crew, but we will introduce them in a minute. We'll start off with a small introduction. So we'll start off by introducing the M crew and the coaches, and then we'll go over to the participants, and then we'll briefly tell about the planning from the International Week, and then Hans Rubens will do the briefing for the assignment this week, and then we'll finish with a guest lecture from Tom van den Bouwhede. So first the crew. Now we are the crew, starting with Helene. Helene, show off. Woo! Then Imani. Hello, Imani. Woo. So then my colleague Cindy. Woo. Then Ewout. Hey. Then me, myself, and I, Robin. Then Isaac, the guy behind the desk, and DJ of tonight. So we are the M crew, and if you have any questions, you can just ask us. And then also an important part, the coaches. Starting off with Mario de Wolf. Mario, where are you? Ah, there. Mario will be guiding group 1 till 6. Then, second of all, Tessa Joost. Tessa, woo! Tessa will be guiding group 7 till 12. Then Laura Ann Merks. Laura, hi. Then Mrs. Els Putseis. Hello. Then Hilde Evers. Hilde. And last but definitely not least, Inge Verstraeten. So together we will try to help you get through this week on a pleasant way. Now Cindy will get ahead about the participants, because not all of the participants were able to make it in real life to the aula.
Yes, so we thought, with this being said, the people that are following the live thing on YouTube, you can now go to the link you received via Teams to say hello, and hopefully it works.
Isaac.
Yeah, if you could turn on your camera and then maybe say hello as well. Would be nice, some type of interaction. But okay, this is not working. They're a bit behind apparently with the internet, so.
Is it really the internet?
Jij mocht ook iets zeggen, hè?
Wat moet ik zeggen?
Yeah.
Nee, oké.
We don't know if a lot of people are joining, but you can wave, because everyone, I don't know if you can see yourself, but everyone can see you.
Yes. Like the whole aula can see you. You can wave at us. Or not. Ah.
Met die microfoon staan.
Ah.
Ja. Maar ga jij daar eens staan? Want anders...
Sorry. Dag. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Bye. With that being said as well, we also have 2 EFEC students from Belgium that were able to come here, so I don't know where they are, but we wanted to welcome you. Welcome. There's also some students, but they will have to follow it online, unfortunately. And of course, we cannot forget our own students that are here, so we have the BBM students.
Make some noise.
We also have the marketing students.
Woo!
And then we also have the 14 exchange students.
Ja, nu de game. Maar we moeten eerst een spelletje. So, we came up with a small game with this cube. You all may have made the assignment, a pre-assignment. Hey guys, hi. So we will now throw the cube and say your name and tell me how the pre-assignment went. You can throw it.
Yeah, make sure to catch it. We'll do our best to aim. To aim well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good, bro.
Gewoon gooi ook. So there's a mic inside the cube, so we can all hear you loud and clear.
Hello? Oh. Well, I'm Maria. I'm from the BBM program. And the pre-assignment, yeah, it went well. I knew one person there, but not quite well. I've just seen them before during project week. But other than that, yeah, just new people.
Yeah, that's
waiting
good.
to see how that's gonna go.
Perfect. If you
Great.
want, and you can aim well, you can throw it again around.
You can
or
throw it at someone else. Allee, throw it to someone else, not at someone else.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hi. I've done the pre-assignment as well, but I didn't know anyone from my group yet, so I look forward this week to meet with them and have a nice week.
Yes, it will be
Thank
fun.
you.
You can throw
Yeah,
it.
you can throw it to the left or the right
Yeah.
maybe as well. Ooh.
Waar is dat?
Oh my days.
Shh. Nee, dat werkt goed.
I'm Veruska. I met my group members during the pre-assignment, and of course, I don't know anyone there yet, but I'm excited to meet them all.
Okay,
Thank
will
you.
be fun. Yeet.
Yeah, we'll do the last one.
Yeah, the last
So
one.
pick a good one.
Oh my god, okay. Do you want? Oh god. Hi,
Hi.
my name is Gilles. I'm from Belgium as well. And I think that our assignment went quite well. And it was pretty easy to do.
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
great.
Thank you. If you can throw
You
it
can
back
throw
to
it
the
back.
front. Or
You can
yeah,
throw
next
it
victim.
back.
Great. Yeah. Oeh, de mic.
Ik zal het nemen.
Okay, thank you for that, everyone. Okay, a little bit of practical information as well, so everyone knows how the week will look like. First of all, Tuesday and Thursday will be online days, so you will be completely online for the whole day. On Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, you have the workshops, and we will also come by those workshops to have a little chat or to see how it's going as well. On Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday as well, you already have a deadline, and on Thursday, you will finish up the assignment. And on Tuesday, we prepared a nice team building, and we tried it ourselves, and it was quite fun, so we hope you will like it as well. And then Wednesday, as you know, we will go to Mechelen, to het Anker. But there's a slight change in the planning, so you will see that on the brochure you got, and if you haven't gotten any, you can just come forward after this, and you can get a new one. And a fun thing is, if you want, you can go afterwards around Mechelen, and there's a nice little surprise that you might get on Friday. And then on Friday itself, there is a student and international jury for the assignment to see who won. And then we will also close off the International Marketing Week. Now, the platforms that we will use are Microsoft Teams. I don't know if you checked it already, but you can already find the assignments. The most important things, they will be mainly there. And you will also have the online moments there on Tuesday and Thursday. And Toledo will be for the upload of the assignments. And then Facebook is quite important for everyone, so the people that are following it online, but also the people that are following it here, because we will also share things there, and especially Wednesday when we go to Mechelen. Yeah, so now we will give the word to Hans Rubens, the person that will brief you the assignment, so pay enough attention so you know what will be going on. Round of applause.
En deze is ja, dat is gewoon links en rechts voor presentatie, maar als je iets wilt aanduiden, kun je zo dat rood dingetje gebruiken. Ja.
Vooruit en achteruit.
Ja.
Dank je. Hierachter. Goed. So, hello everyone. Hello, hello. It's very nice to be back in the city where it all started for me. I was a student myself here in Leuven for 4 years. I was in London for 1 year, also as a student. And just by short introduction of myself, I'm here for a marketing project, your marketing week, right? But I'm not an educated marketeer as such. I've had a lot of practice and experience in the meantime, which I've built over the years. But I started out as a student, you will never guess, Japanese studies here in Leuven. Any Japanese people? I don't think so, right? Japanese people here today? We could do this in Japanese if you like, but I think it might be a little bit more difficult for most of you to follow. So I'll stick to my Flemish English, if that's right with you. So I started out in Leuven, studied Japanese for 4 years, then got a phone call from Japan one day, out of the blue. They said, look, we're looking for a Belgian guy, check, interested in beers, double check, who can speak Japanese. That kind of narrowed down the selection, and who can be over in 4 weeks. So I gave up the job I was doing at the Japanese embassy in Brussels. I asked my wife, my girlfriend at the time, to quit her job, leave the apartment, follow me 4 weeks later. And so we started out a couple of weeks later to Japan. And I started working for this Japanese company, 16 generation family company, famous for Japanese sake brewing. You know, the Japanese brew, sake, rice wine. And by coincidence, as it goes sometimes, by coincidence, they started importing Belgian beers in the 1980s as the pioneering Japanese company importing beers to Japan. The Japanese are used to lager beers, you know, the Pilsner beers, of which you have a great example here in this city, Stella Artois. I believe in every country where you come from, you will probably have Stella on the shelves. The Japanese, actually this company started bringing in Belgian beers, specialty beers, and the Japanese started drinking different kinds of beers. We'll talk about different kinds of beers today in the presentation. So I started working there a couple of years. That's okay. It's not a bottle of beer, is it? No. Okay. Then 8 years later, I came back and I started working for this great brewery. I like to say brewery instead of company. It sounds so executive, so company-like. Anker is a brewery. It's also a distillery in the meantime, but I'll get to that later. What I would like to introduce you to in the next, say, 30 minutes or so, is the brewery, the distillery, and then give you a quick briefing on what you're about to set out for in different groups, as I understand, this week. For me, it all started out by a visit at the brewery of Hilde and Inge. So thanks for that. It was, I think, well over 6 months ago. First time here, so it's great to see an interesting project like this, bringing young people from all over Europe and maybe other parts of the world together. It's very nice to feel the energy in the room, Sounds strange, but from a 44-year-old guy, if you walk into the room, you feel the youthful energy, and I hope you enjoy this week. More than anything else, if you can enjoy this week, build relations amongst all of you. I heard a lot of people saying new faces, new introductions. Okay, the assignment is there. It's well prepared. I think the M crew did a great job. If I look at what was already done today and in the past couple of months, probably. But I would say it's a great assignment. Beer brings people together. We know that. Beer is a great facilitator of discussions in moderation. And just give you a heads up, at the end of the presentation or at the end of the schedule here today, I've brought you a couple of beer cases. It's I have to admit it's an old trick. I'm sorry for the guys at home following and the participants behind their desktop laptops. I'm sorry, it will be for next opportunity, but for the students in the room, because your assignment will be about this beer, we'll get to it later, I've brought you a couple of samples. Don't worry if you don't drink alcohol, it's not an obligation at all. We're a small family business and we have a marketing team of 5 people. 2 of them have never touched a drop of alcohol so far, and I think they're great marketeers. So if you like beer, if you would like to taste what your assignment is about, then feel free to take a bottle or 2 home. There's 2 varieties, and there's more cases. I think Ewout is taking care of the drink, so he's the guy to talk to today. All right, where's my... I always lose my keys and my... there he is. Thank you. I didn't put a lot of text on it, so it's mostly visuals, and it's a short presentation, 150 slides, so we'll quickly zap through it. So just to show, this is the headquarters of the brewery. No, it's not. It's an old picture of the windmill. This is an old picture just saying we're a very ancient, well, old company, old brewery, distillery. And the picture you see is actually still there today. It's the family farm / distillery. They used to distill gin, you know, Belgian gin, Genever, there already in the 17th century. It's great because it's kind of a loop from distillers of gin. The family turned into brewers of beer. And then the 5th generation, just 10 years ago, he went back to the original family farm and he kind of restarted the tradition of distilling. No longer gin, but Belgian single malt whiskey. Any Scottish people in the room? No? Irish? No? Okay. I won't say what I was about to say. Nothing bad about the Scotch whiskey and the Irish whiskey, but it's one of the very first exponents of examples of Belgian single malt whiskey. So just to show it's an old company. This is the marketing team. No, it's not. It's an old picture, but this is the actual owner today. It's the 5th generation, Charles. He used to be president of the Belgian Family Brewers Association. He's playing an important part in the 2023 project at Brussels, in Brussels Center, where they will build a big experience center about Belgian beer. So he's the 5th generation, and today his son is also in the brewery, active today. This is an actual picture of the brewery. It's right in the old béguinage. You know what a béguinage is? You know, it's the French-speaking people I see nodding. Béguinage, anyone? Sorry? Begijnhof, yes. In Dutch it's Begijnhof. Béguinage is in French. It's a place usually within the city walls where women, religious women, used to live together in community. It's kind of like your convent, abbey kind of thing, but it's within the city. It's not a closed, walled facility. And so the Béguinage of Mechelen, you see all the small houses, 16th, 17th, 18th century. These are private housings today, but the brewery's origin is actually part of the activities of the béguinage, of the religious women. It's important because it will bring us back later on to the assignment for the beer we will talk about in a minute, La Cambre. Because also in their story, a woman is at the very basis, the foundation of the brewing activity. This is the back door entrance. The historic brew hall. It's a picture of the copper brew kettles. It's one of the few remaining breweries that is still brewing in a copper setup. So most of the breweries today, for reasons of efficiency and easy maintenance costs, they brew in stainless steel kettles. These copper kettles, you will see them on Wednesday, I guess, when you're visiting the city and the brewery. It's the heart and soul of the brewery today. Every bottle of La Cambre beer or the Gouden Carolus beer, for which the brewery is mostly famous today, is flowing out of these kettles. And those were set up after the Second World War, where in the wartime the iron brewing installation was taken out and a new one was installed in 46, 47. So if you can imagine 70 years and counting, we're still using the same setup for the traditional specialty ales we brew. Picture of the distillery, the family farm as it looks today. The idea is, yes, they told me I could point. So here, this space, if you would visit us again in, say, 1 year, there will be a big new building, sort of closing the space in between the old U-shaped family farm. It will be an extra creation, very important also for the La Cambre project, the public accessibility, as we say. So the public can visit us. It's not a museum, it's not a closed factory, it's a brewery or a distillery integrated into the community. And for us, as a small, medium-sized brewery or distillery, it's a very important part of our marketing. So keep it in the back of your mind, I would say, during the assignment. The public factor is our best marketing today. We're not the company, so to say, with the most expensive campaigns, above-the-line budgets, big spending, trains, TV spots. No, people getting to know our brands, people discovering the tastes we brew and distill is still working very well for us. It's our most direct and efficient way of marketeering. And today every brewery is doing it. It's not a big secret. Every brewery, probably also in your country, the so-called wave of craft beer that you've probably seen coming up. Small projects in your cities where people start brewing specialty beers mostly. I don't know a single project that doesn't open up with an annexed tap room, like a restaurant, a bar, a cafe next to the brewery. I see some people nodding, so and it's mostly great places. The thing is, we've been doing it for well over 25 years because it has always been the vision of the current 5th generation owner. And when he was opening a brewery hotel, 22 rooms in 1999, his colleague brewers said, but it's crazy, you're a brewer. You should focus on your beer, your quality. You have so much to do, and then you start running a hotel. What's the idea? Well, today, public accessibility is a main ingredient of the marketing mix of Belgian specialty family breweries. So that's why a new building next to the pot stills. So this is the way to make whiskey properly, the Scotch way or the Irish way. Double distillation. So you distill one time in the first kettle, then the second kettle you do the same thing a second time. The Irish will do it 3 times, but it's a matter of taste. Whiskey, as you may know, I'm not focusing on whiskey too much now because we'll speak about beer and the assignment is about beer. But whiskey, who knows what one needs to go, when can you call a drink a whiskey? Or better, a single malt whiskey? Any suggestions from the room? What's necessary to make it a single malt whiskey? There's 3-4 conditions. Anyone? Yes, aging is very important. There's a minimum age on single malt whiskey, 3 years and 1 day, just to make sure, in the wood, in the barrel. The moment you put it in a glass bottle, the aging does no longer count. So it's aging on wooden barrels. So that's right. Anything else? Single malt, the ingredients, only barley, right? You can make whiskey with other ingredients, corn or other stuff, but then it's no single malt. Alcohol needs to be up 40% or more. Ours is 46. And single malt, the single refers to it comes from a single distillery. I cannot go out to Scotland or to some other distillery in the country and say, can I have a few truckloads of your spirit, and I'll age it. You can make it, turn it into a whiskey, but not a single malt whiskey. So there's a few guarantees on the bottle when you see single malt. Almost getting there. The beers. Just to give you a quick glance at our main beers. Who has seen the brand Gouden Carolus so far? Can you raise your hand if you are familiar with the brand? You've seen it, you've tasted it, you've heard about it. So that's what, like about... Can you raise your hand for a quick second? It's interesting. This is my marketing data at a small family brewery. It's about, I would say, half the room, which is great. Are you from Belgium, most of you? Yes? Most of you? Okay, I see some people. And then if you're from outside of Belgium, you're a foreigner to this country, you don't live here, how many people have seen Gouden Carolus before? Can I have a quick raise again? Yeah, a lot less, obviously. Okay. Unless you're not all Belgians, I think we have still a lot of work to do in other countries than Belgium. We do export to about 45 countries, but to some greater and lesser extent. Our main export countries are France, the Netherlands, and we just established two daughter companies in the USA and China. That's for the future of Belgian beer, so to say. So for those of you who have tasted maybe a bit of repetition, for those of you who have never heard about Gouden Carolus, you can see the Gouden Carolus, it's a Dutch brand name. Gouden is a Dutch word for gold. The Carolus refers to the golden coins of Emperor Charles V. Emperor Charles V, who lived in this country in the 16th century, and he was born in the city where the brewery is based. Sorry, he wasn't born, he was raised there for the first 15 years of his life. He was born in Ghent. So if you come to the city on Wednesday, you may find some references to the emperor. You will see the brand Gouden Carolus on the parasols, on terrace boarding, hopefully a lot on the tables at the terraces. It's a beer that is well known in Belgium, and especially in its home city of Mechelen. And so the Gouden Carolus as a whole is a literal reference to the golden coins who were issued under the reign of Emperor Charles V, right? So you can see the emperor in a picture or depicted, drawn on his horse. Legend has it, the dark version of this beer, the original one, the triple was added later. The dark ale Gouden Carolus was consumed during fox hunting when the emperor moved to Spain when he was 16 years old. And the fox hunting, it's of course a little bit contested nowadays, but at the time they loved it, and apparently, according to the tale, they gave this dark ale of the city of Mechelen to the horse rider and the horse, because it fired them up for the fox hunting. You can see this is just a few of the medals we have taken, so we tend to participate in like the leading beer competitions, and we've had some great medals taken from these competitions. It's English, UK, US, and other competitions, not just the Belgian ones. Another beer for which we are very famous worldwide, especially in the United States, is our heavy dark ale. It's a tradition that started in 1999 for the 500th anniversary of the Emperor Charles V. And so the Imperial Dark, the cuvée of the Emperor, has been, we have been brewing it every year on the 24th of February as a commemoration of his birthday. Not necessarily, but maybe, if you go into the groups later this week, you think back of all these small leads you can take from what already exists. I believe Tom will also have a very nice presentation about another product. You see how their story brings together the product, the history, and sort of the main characteristics you want to put forward to your consumer. And if you can bring it together, integrate it into one great plan, it could be a very nice way of presenting your product to the public in the end. Latest addition, I won't go through the whole portfolio, but this is a beer that made a lot of publicity for itself, Gouden Carolus whiskey infused. So we were the first brewers to kind of combine, make a fusion of both our products, the beer and the whiskey. So we do an infusion, a blend of whiskey in the beer. It's not a shot like you might take sometimes at night, like you drop some gin into a pint of beer. I'm not sure what you guys are drinking at night or how it's consumed today. It's what we used to do, but it's not in that spirit. It's a very premium, heavy dark ale. It's like top of the bill. And just for one, it won the consumer prize at Belgium's largest beer festival, about 10,000 people, who each hold one vote. So it's a very objective way of selecting the best beer of the festival, and never been achieved before, because mostly these people go for new beers, but this beer won 3 consecutive public awards. So that's, and after COVID, we'll actually have the first festival since 2019. Yes, the last one was 19. So we have the opportunity to win a sort of a grand slam, so to say. So that will be actually in this city of Leuven in about 1 month from here. Just to give you an idea, the whiskey I spoke about, under the same brand, Gouden Carolus, not coincidentally, because again, small company, small marketing budgets, so inventing another brand to have the necessity for a whole bunch of support is not always possible, and we also wanted to link the whiskey to the existing beer name, obviously. So that's why Gouden Carolus single malt is nowadays in the stores. There's probably not a single whiskey store in the whole of this country which does not have the Gouden Carolus single malt on the shelves. And you can also find it in supermarkets. Before COVID, it was at the Zaventem airport duty-free shop, etc. So as one of the first expressions of Belgian single malt whiskey, we really made some, really made a success out of the first 7 years of commercialization. Then, what you've all been waiting for, I guess, now we're going to talk a bit about the assignment, another beer. This, in French, it's a French name, it's called La Cambre. La Cambre. In Dutch, we say Ter Kameren. It's the name of a place, it's the name of an abbey. An abbey, a religious convent, right? So, it's not an abbey with, sorry, it's not an abbey in the city of Mechelen. The place La Cambre is in the center of Brussels. Zip code 1050. So for those who know, I think it's in my next slide. Yes, this is a few images. Just took them off Google. A few images of the abbey location. So if you would go there today, it's a public site. You have the church building. We used the main window above the main entrance of the church in the background of the beer label. We'll see it in a minute. Besides the church and the abbey buildings surrounding it, which are open to the public, There's also, as you can see here, some green, a park, some greens surrounding the original buildings. Today there's also an art school at the location. So the idea of the owner of the site, which is today the city of Brussels and the southern part of Belgium, the Walloon region, they're the owners. Their idea is to completely renovate, to modernize the buildings. They need some scrubbing. And in about 3 to 5 years, their idea is to further open up the buildings and the full site to the public, creating more activities, introducing new commercial activities, etc. And so when we talk about public accessibility, I've told you the story about how we have a brewery hotel. We do guided tours, 40,000 people a year. We have a cafe restaurant on site. One of the ideas here is also to create a pub restaurant with people able to visit, maybe have a microbrewery on site. So this location should come to life even more than it is today. What's special about the site and why we became interested just last year around this time of the year, a year ago, when we were contacted by an entrepreneur who held the license of the Abbey to produce beer under this name, is because we could possibly make the same model in a few years as we have created at our own location, or when we will reproduce this model at the distillery, having an open public model to promote and to get people, consumers, to discover our products, beers, whiskey, etc. And so here we have the same thing, potentially. It was an existing project, but nothing much. It was an entrepreneur who started out with a license, and he had his brews made elsewhere. So when we took over the license in September of last year, it was with the idea to start brewing these beers, new beers, at our own location. So it's the 2 varieties of beer I have brought you today as tasting samples. It's a blonde beer, a blonde one, 6%, and IPA beer. Are you familiar with IPA? India Pale Ale? IPA, is it? IPA. So it's more hops in the taste. Hops will bring you bitterness, fresh bitterness, right? It's the thirst-quenching quality of beer. Often it's brought by the hops in the brew. IPA means more hops. Lower alcohol though. So 4.9 for the IPA, 6 for the blonde. What is unique here about this location also is it's the only abbey in the zip code 1000 in Brussels. So there's no other such location within Brussels, and this makes it a special place for to brew beer or to link your brand to this special setting. That's why Brussels Abbey beer, here you are, Brussels Abbey beer, is an important claim we put on the brand. It's one of the prepositions we want to stress to the consumer, that this beer is from Brussels, worldwide known as capital of Belgium, Belgium known as capital of the beers, right? So don't forget about Brussels Abbey beer when you start considering your assignment goals. And so it's a very fresh and new project. We at Anchor just started selling a few months ago, January of this year. And you can find the beers today in the first stores and bars in Brussels. And also the national supermarket chain, Colruyt, have already picked up, so it's in all the Colruyt stores nationally. You can find the La Cambre beers. So 2 varieties. This just shows you if this is a city center. People who know Brussels, Manneke-Pis and Grand Place, etc. So it's just south at the end of the posh Louisalaan. Here you can find the Ter Cambre La Cambre site. So 2 new beers. Quick presentation. La Cambre. So prominently you can see the brand name. It's not hidden on the label. It's very in your face, La Cambre. This was the marketing that was already created under the previous owner, and we kind of brushed it up a little bit, but we didn't change it completely. They already had some customers in Brussels. We wanted to build on what already existed. What we also kind of just cleaned up a little bit, but did not change completely, is the small logo mark you can see on top. It's a reference to Lady Giselle, Dame Giselle in French. Lady Giselle, who was the founder of the Abbey in 1201. So she was the first person that established the Abbey location in Brussels. And so the story goes, the beer is a homage, it's a pledge of honor that the beer is brewed in her memory, to commemorate her. 2 varieties. You can see we added Brussels Abbey beer to claim it stronger than it was claimed before. And the colors and the style extension at the bottom of the label should make it very clear to the consumer that there's 2 varieties of taste, a blonde one and a more hoppy, bitter one. Intentionally, when we are well above 8% of alcohol, very important today, alcohol is under, it's the new drugs, right? It's under a lot of stress from the health organizations, and it's the new tobacco and sugar, and now alcohol is under a lot of scrutiny. Alcohol, we have always said it's important, it's a taste creator, but it can also reach a level where it goes against consumption when people drink too much, or alcohol is intoxicating, of course. And so to enjoy a beer in moderation, alcohol is also a break on consumption. So as you can see probably in all of the countries where you're from, there's now a whole movement about less alcohol, no alcohol, de-alcoholized beers. So you have a lot of activity in this field as well. For us, simply put, when Gouden Carolus is well above 8% upwards, 9, 10, 11, whiskey infused 11.7. These beers with a positioning between 4 and 7 is intentional, so it can be consumed still in moderation, but maybe not just 1 glass, but 2 or 3, without feeling the alcohol effects that you would have with a much heavier Gouden Carolus beer. Referring to the assignment you will tackle this week, we are open also for this brand, also with this positioning, to an alcohol position that is below or above what you see here, the 4-7% range. You can also put it within this range, right? What is more important for us in terms of positioning is that it is a specialty ale. So we are not a brewery that is technically capable or much interested in Pilsner type of beers. You know, the Stella Artois kind of beers, the lager fermentation, it's a whole different ball game. So don't go there, but within these specialty beers, alcohol is just one defining element, but it's not the whole definition of the beer, right? So just saying it's an open book. You're not limited in your inspiration by the alcohol. I was asked this morning, probably my mistake, but I was asked to include a briefing in my presentation. So it was 11 o'clock this morning. I said, yes, no problem. So this is a great example how not to tackle your assignment, just ripping some Google pictures of the internet within the time span of 10 minutes, and then you get pictures with bad resolution, etc. But it's the final part of my presentation today. It's about the assignment. So if any questions, just raise your hands. I don't mind being interrupted. So if any questions, just ask what you have to ask. If not, I will quickly run through it. 4 points on the agenda. So first is the name. Now, at Het Anker, we believe in the importance of names. We've had a long debate at the brewery about the brand name La Cambre, which is French. You know, we're a special country in terms of languages. We have 3 official languages. It's always a very difficult assignment when you have to make up the back labels of your product, of the beers or the whiskey, because you have to take into account 3 languages, small spaces. So it's not an easy task. But the name is always important because in what we do, it's the name consumers will refer to when they order it. When they order it at the bar, when they want to take a bottle from the shelves. So a name that sticks, a name that is to the point, that makes a reference to what's inside the bottle. It can be anything, but it has a lot of value. So, you know what they say when you need inspiration? What do they say when you need inspiration? Don't sit together here in an aula, in a conference room. Don't book a meeting room. Go to the bar. Go to the bar, have a beer or 2 together, and start speaking about your assignment. And the names will come and the inspiration will come. Don't drink too much, or the inspiration the following day you will see you can just throw it out. It's worthless. But just a beer, a drink, whatever, in a good setting, it's important. The name will bring you to the content, right? And the content is pretty much open. It's pretty much open, difficult to explain, but you know we make specialty beers. Specialty beers versus Pilsner beers, we have a kind of a more premium position. You will pay more for a specialty beer than you pay for a Pilsner beer. So for one, we are premium. On the other hand, we want to position La Cambre not as a champagne-like beer. So it shouldn't be the ultra luxurious, premium, super expensive kind of brand. So it's the idea to kind of balance the two, make it very accessible, lively, a little bit energetic, youthly. The colors we've used on the La Cambre bottles, it's not your typical Abbey beer bottles, right? The fonts, the font we used, the lady Dame Giselle at the top, it's all a little bit more sparkly than maybe what you've seen with the Gouden Carolus. Much more classic, traditional, soft colors, a little bit darker, moodier, right? So La Cambre, bear in mind, we're not aiming for the super luxury segment, but it should have its kind of Abbey beer from Belgium quality. Balance it out as much as you can and think of a good name that relates to it, okay? What else do we have? Bottles and packaging. Another Google picture. Probably if you type bottles and packaging, you will find the same picture right away. So this is not bottles we use, but I think Hilden and Inge have sent you an example of the Gouden Carolus indulgence bottle, right? So this is a restraint you have to stick to. It is a 75 cc champagne-like shaped bottle. You have it in your assignment MS Teams. Apart from the bottle shape, the print, you can do anything you like. There's a print zone restriction, so you have a good example with the indulgence, what is possible. Basically, it's impossible to print on this part of the neck, like where it glows into the bottle top, but on the belly of the bottle, on the back and on the neck, we can print anything in all colors imaginable. So feel free to have the graphic specialists among you make it work, right? You have a great canvas to work on, a bottle, no limitations on the colors, on the print techniques. So So this is definitely also, next to the name, an important asset that will make your make your brand stand out, or make it just disappear in the shelf next to all the competition, right? Cork and muselet, so it's a small addition, but I guess you know what I'm referring to. It's the top part of the bottle. So on top, we seal the bottles with a cork, like a wine bottle would have, with a muselet, like the iron wire. So it's not just a capsule. So it also adds to the premium quality of the bottle, we believe. The carton, I think there's also an example of the carton. It's a 6-bottle carton. It's more popular than the traditional 12-bottle cartons. Price will be a bit higher for the wholesaler. So 6 bottles will allow him to have less risk of being stuck with inventory that is hard to sell. So 6 bottles at a time per carton. The carton, again, is a great canvas for the public to see the carton in the store. So just don't skip it, right? The carton is maybe a bit less fancy than the bottle, which should be on the shelf. The carton often in stores is below the shelf, where there's a small couple of cases, crates or cases in this instance, in stock. So people will also be able, the consumer will be able to see the design on the carton. Okay. Optional, so no deduction of points. I would say if it's not there, it's an option. But if you would feel like the bottle deserves a little extra, we do have the technical ability to put a small booklet or a neck hanger, as they would call it, a neck hanger or a booklet around the bottle top, right? So it's a small booklet. If you go into stores in Belgium, you can see other premium beers or brands with small explicative booklets around the bottle top. This is an option. It's not an encyclopedia, right? So just a couple of pages, 3, 4, 6 different languages. So the visual quality of such a booklet is important, with a few lines of text. You know this, but people don't read, right? Consumers don't read, they see, they digest with their eyes. And so if you want to catch their attention, make the booklet stand out. If you feel it's not necessary for the creation you come up with, then it's an option you can leave out, right? You have another beer instead. Then finally, the product texts. Product texts are important. As I told you, we have a great canvas. Our best publicity is on the bottle, because the bottle will be everywhere, on the shelf, in the bar, in the fridge. So people will mostly see what's on the bottle. If a consumer takes a bottle, turns it around, what will she or he read? You just have 2, 3, at the maximum 4 sentences to bring the message you think it's most important for the consumer to read, right? We don't have the luxury to put a whole paragraph of text about the brewery and another one about what's in the bottle. It will simply be too long, and nobody will, unfortunately, read your effort. So make it concise, make it precise, make it appealing. Look for the right words, right? Bring the message you want to bring in a very short and concise way. This will be a limited edition, so my suggestion would be, in some way or another, can be in different ways, that you make it clear to the consumer that this is a limited edition. It's not just the next beer that is launched into the market for eternity and beyond. It has this limited quality, so you should focus on it in some way or another. There is an example of the product text of the same beer, Gouden Carolus Indulgence. This is our limited yearly release of Gouden Carolus. it is on the MS Teams, right? So it's all well prepared as a reference material. And finally, as marketeers to be, at the brewery we have one dedicated lady working on the socials and online activities. We do lots of events, new products, opening new projects, and so the socials are not to be ignored. We just selected 2. We would like you to think about a launch approach on Instagram and on Facebook. If you think those 2 are the same, and you can just throw in the same text, ask your colleagues if they have the same opinion, right? Maybe you can reconsider. You have other stuff, but we don't want to push it too hard this week. You have also other things to do. You have LinkedIn, etc. But you can find us on LinkedIn. But for this assignment, we would like you to focus on Instagram and Facebook for sure. Then it's an invitation to think about, it's in small print here, the 4 strategic steps of how you would roll out what you have just created. Have you considered your public? Who will consume the beer? Who are you targeting? Anyone? Ladies, men, beer drinkers, new consumers, Belgians, foreigners? So think about your audience. The Lacambre brand today is mostly present in Belgium, but we see our home market as Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. So we have own commercial teams in these 3 countries. Next to that home base, we do export also the Lacambre brand worldwide to 40 countries, but it's just in its first steps, right? So do we bring a limited edition before the basic 2 beers are known? It's your choice. So Belgium, the Netherlands, France as a home market. What are the objectives? Why would we even consider and make it difficult for ourselves to create a new expression of the Lacambre beer? So why are we doing this? What's the objective behind it? Thirdly, what's the strategy? How are we going to do it? So your social media plan will probably link into this, right? It will tune into your objectives. Finally, what are the tools we have? As I said, we're not aiming for big billboards and TV spots and commercials. It's a limited campaign. We talk about the beer. Our consumers will probably tune into it because the distribution will follow. We talk to the national supermarket chain. We talk to our Gouden Carolus distribution network. And if we come up with a good Lacambre limited expression, big chance we can convince them if the story looks great, if the expression, the bottle looks nice, and the story is supported by some social media campaigning, some tasting sessions probably, etc. That's our way how we can roll out such a limited edition for a medium-sized brewery from Mechelen, right? So think about the necessary steps to make your assignment work. So as I said in the beginning, if a few beers can help, for sure it brings inspiration. I hope it brings you some great moments during this week as well. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. It's not just the assignment, it's also getting to know new people from across the world. So this seems like a very fun assignment to me, and I hope you have loads of fun with it. I didn't see any questions, so maybe one question over here. Yes? Yes? Yes, good question. So is the name, is it important if it's in Dutch, in English, another language? I can tell you this, Gouden Carolus Indulgence is one example of a beer which we sell probably 80% in Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. In France, typically they would say indulgence, which is not the same meaning, indulgent, as indulgence, which is a treat for yourself. But we have chosen consciously to put an English name, kind of as a way to avoid the French, Dutch ambivalence, the ambiguity, and it makes it difficult. Cuvée van de Keizer is an example of 1999, where we have chosen for a Dutch name. With the cuvée part, luckily, internationally understandable. Cuvée, as in a wine, people are familiar with cuvée. Millésime from the wine world, people are familiar with these kind of words. Van de Keizer, still 20 years later, I have to explain to every American, Japanese consumer visiting the brewery. So I would say no restrictions, but indeed it's a good first reflection. Should it be in Dutch, French, English? Could it be something else? I would say it's open, but it's definitely worth thinking about in your assignment group. Anything else before? Unfortunately, I have to go back to Mechelen. We have a new project opening up, or we had a new project opening up in a church building this weekend, Batelik. If you come to Mechelen after this week, it's a new kind of spin-off project of the brewery. Small beers, gins, spirits, and lemonades. It's in an old church building, and it's opening up tonight for the brewery staff, so I have to get back to Mechelen. But you're welcome to visit if you have time later this week. Anything else? Okay. Well, wish you lots of luck, and I'll see all of you again on Friday, when I'll bring two of my colleagues, the designer, the graphic designer of the brewery, and the senior key account of retail. He will be present to judge your projects. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you, Hans, for your briefing. Now we will give the word to Tom. Tom is the founder of Lemento, and it's a logo, branding, hoe zegt je dat? Expert. Sorry, I didn't come up.
I'm the expert.
So yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. I'm the expert. Hi. So, could you put it on Control L? Okay, thanks. So just okay. Okay. Hi. So I'm Tom, the branding expert. Those are big words. It's something that I'm doing already for 25 years, so I know a bit about it. When I saw the assignment from Hans a few weeks ago, I thought, I'm not going to tell you a classic story about how branding works, like in a lecture, because it will not be interesting enough. So I brought you a little story about kombucha, about Jugend Kombucha. It's a brand that I helped the past years to start and to grow. I don't know if people know kombucha. Is it? I explain a bit later how it works. So what happened? This clicker is not always. Is not. The pointer is not. I have my own pointer. I will just because. Oops. It's probably because it's PDF and not PowerPoint. So, or maybe it's the battery, but he's not enjoying it. Normaal zien we het wel werken. Even hetzelfde, maar let's see if this pom pom pom. Ja, dan moeten jullie klikken. Huh? Okay, click. Yeah, next. So I will have some help. I have a PDF instead of PowerPoint, and then technology is not always working. So the story started in the United States. A guy, Yannick, he had a huge hangover, so he was really, really drunk, and he bought in a store. He bought kombucha at night, and he drank kombucha, and the day after, there was no headache. So it was like, whoa, this is special. So I can drink as much beer as I want. After the beer, I drink kombucha, and then, bam, no problem at all. So don't try it at home. Just so he started brewing kombucha himself, and he enjoyed it. And then he came back to Belgium, and he looked in the stores, in the supermarkets for kombucha. He couldn't find a good kombucha, so he continued here to brew kombucha. And then another guy, a good friend of mine, school friend, Chris, he jumped in, and Chris is like more the marketeer. So Chris said, Yannick, you have very good brewing capabilities, but if it's about branding, we can do better. So next slide, please. So I'm going a bit first. So, kombucha, it's fermented tea. Next. And so it's something that already exists, like more than 2,000 years ago, people were drinking it. It's very healthy. It's a process like beer, but the alcohol disappears. It's a bit like yogurt, like Actimel and all the other things, so probiotics. So it's very good for your stomach. And it's a good alternative for all the sugared soft drinks, let's say. In the 90s, it became very popular in the United States. It started then, and today you have lots of brands in the US of kombucha. So the idea was to bring it to Europe. Next. You see how it works here. It's first. It's based on a mushroom. I don't know if you know that, but it's a living organism. You have to feed the mushroom, and then it becomes bigger and bigger during 20 days. And then after 20 days, you will add some herbs and fruit. 4 more days, and then you bottle it, and you have your kombucha. Yes, next. You have the advantages, the benefits of the tea. As you can see, tea is good for your health, but you also have the benefits of the kombucha itself. It's low on carbs. That's well, interesting also these days. And then you have the benefits of the herbs and the fruits. As you can see them here, healing, calming, and everything. So that's a bit the concept in the story that we tell. Yeah, next slide. So if we looked at the SWOT, we have some strengths, some weaknesses, and some threats and opportunities. You can see them here. The strengths, of course, well, I picked some of them. Growing market opportunities, well, 25% market growth each year. That's fantastic. The threats, it might be just a hype that we don't know. Might be that people are drinking now kombucha, but within a few years it's something else. We don't know, so that might be a threat. And the weakness, of course, it's difficult to make. And it's expensive, so there is a bit a small problem, let's say. Yeah, next slide. So, but we see it as an opportunity, as you can see here. And we have already seen for ourselves, I can tell you, after 4 years, we sold more than 1 million bottles, and it was COVID times. So, so brewing this and making this and bringing it to the market, supermarkets, specialized supermarkets are looking for healthy alternatives, so that worked pretty well. But of course, we're ambitious in the future. Not a lot of competitors for the moment, and well, I don't know if it's the same for you, but lots of people like the healthy lifestyle and looking for healthy alternatives. And especially, like non-alcoholic drinks with a good flavor. So, for example, kombucha as a starter instead of a glass of champagne. So a non-alcoholic starter works pretty well. Yeah, next slide. So here you see the brand of Yannick. I can do the next one. Here you see Yannick busy with brewing at the start. He's really the rock and roll guy, you know. So the brand image was with tattoos and everything. Yeah, next slide. You will see some bottles. Next slide. You see, so it's a bit the mood board. The brand name was Black Dragon. You can show the next slide. Here you see different flavors. So the idea of putting fruits and herbs together and finding why this is good, like ginger, energizing, and then you take turmeric and stimulating and so on. So that's something that we kept from the start. But with the brand, we were not happy. You can take the next one, and then the next one. So we needed a new start. Yeah, next one. So pure product, 100% fruit juice plus herbs, raw materials. It's not pasteurized, so means should be kept cold. So it's really a natural product, eco-friendly. We even thought about bottles you can recycle, but all inks are natural inks too, for example. So it's really looking after our planet is very important in the concept. You will see that later on in the presentation. Bold flavors, so really like lots of taste, also important. A bro business, brothers, friends. We care about corporate social responsibility. It's something very important these days. It's not just about profit, it's also about people and about planet. So you bring everything together, and what we see, our product rocks. So, okay. Competition. This is something very important also for your assignment. You have to come up with a name, but it's a brand extension for La Cambre. But imagine you come up with a name that is already used by the competition. That will be a huge problem. It would mean that all the rest, what follows, that you can't use it. So you have to do your homework, and that starts today. So online research, and maybe go to a specialized beer store and ask the people over there to see what's available in the market. Really, you have to work on it. You see it here, and you can click the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. You say, so really look into all details. Make sure you don't miss a competitor. Very important. So that's something to think about. I'm creating lots of names, brand names for companies, and it's always the same. If you present a name to a client and they say, oh, wait a minute, I've heard that one before, because in the Netherlands or in France or in the UK, there is an organization that has the same name. It doesn't feel well, because then it's like you didn't do your homework well. So very, very important, before starting with name creation, look at competition. Then we go to the name. Here we had for the kombucha brand, we had some words where we say, okay, why is it important? It's in Dutch, but it's not. It's just, you see, it should be a name with meaning. So it means that you have to be able to use it as in storytelling. So that will be the same here. If you have La Cambre and then you have an extension, that extension, it should be part of a story. You have Lady Giselle. Maybe Lady Giselle was a special lady. I don't know. You have to dig into the history to find associations and bring that all together. Next slide. So what we did, we made long lists, And as I say, long lists, it's really long lists. The advantage that you have here, because it's an extension, there will be no risk of registration, so I would not dig into trademark. If you do your competitor analysis well, then probably, yeah, almost for 99% sure you will be able to register the name combined with Lacambre. So trademarking will not be an issue here, so don't put your effort in it, but make long lists, check them online if they already exist with other beer brands. Google works perfect for that. Then shortlist them. You have teams of how many people? 5 people? Or how many in the group? Each group is 5, so okay. So everybody give points like we did, and then at the end you come up with a very short list. Then it's good to talk to other people, because sometimes you're in your own tunnel, and it's always good, of course, not the other students here, but of course you have friends, and if you tell your friends, hey, we have 3 options left, this one, this one, this one, and you give a bit the story, then you will have extra feedback. That might be helpful too. And then you make a decision. And here, so we had Dang, Jugend, and Opia, and as I told you in the beginning, it became Jugend. Next slide, voila. And Jugend, the first sentence there, an awareness of the universe that triggers feelings too deep and mysterious for words. So it's really like something, it's supernatural, hidden beauty, and it comes from from Japan. It's Japanese. So I was talking to Hans, and I didn't know he was fluent Japanese speaking, but so he immediately said, "Oh, Jugend, that's Japanese." And I was looking at him. Okay, how do you know? But now I know. So so that's the name that we came up with. And really the core story, because it's Japanese style. It's also classy. It's very peaceful. It has lots of associations with it. So next slide. Then the design. Well, what we want is both rough and elegant. It should trigger people. Should be something that is immediately interesting. Of course, you have the organic feeling that you need and a bit daring, not just, soft stuff, let's say. And I have the impression, so you have to come up yourself for Lacambre with that kind of words, let's say, before you start designing. You have to discuss, and there are lots of models online available that you can use for example, if you Google on brand personality model from Aker, you will find a very good model that you can use to make those associations, and that will help you because it's all part of your basic business idea, analysis first and then strategy. So the next slide, the design brief. We wanted also a logo, we needed packaging, we needed everything, the socials, sheets and so on and so on. Next slide. We wanted going for awareness because nobody knows us, so it was something new. Cultivate, learning people, so tastings, that's exactly what they also are doing in the beer business. Personal contact is very important. We make beautiful cocktails. Recipes are on the website, jugendkombucha.com. Fantastic combinations of kombucha with rum, tequila, gin, or something else. No headache. So always good to know. And then, of course, the places where you launch it, also important. Next slide. We did the research about design because this is the brief to the designer. So we showed them, look, these are options, translucent bottles versus black bottles. And now we're gonna do some next slides because it's just part of the design briefing. Also the next slide, you see some good practices. Here you see, for example, one back. For example, here you see how other ones are putting names. That's also, you have, if you look at competition, look at the labels, and look very in detail because labels, it's difficult. every millimeter counts. So if you start with a label, really look at competitors, look at what the people of La Cambre or the Anchor, what they're used to, what they did with Houten Carolus, because the marketing team that will judge your project, they have lots of experience, so every decision they made while building the Houten Carolus brand, yeah, some of these ideas will still count, and when they look at what you create, they will think, oh, but Houten Carolus, we did it like that, so why is this different? So really make a good benchmark to see why they did things. Yeah, next slide. Bad examples, also interesting. So the things you don't like. So be open and bold. If somebody says, hey, what do you think about this? Well, just because you don't have much time, this is rubbish, this is good, and then you discuss about it. Next slide. This is what Yannick liked a lot. Next slide. Here's some other ones. And here you see the colors coming up. What we saw in the La Cambre 2 bottles, the 2 colors, well, it's a bit comparable. Next slide. Label, what we liked, less labels. Next slide. No, next. So it's all research what we did to really be able to create something that we loved. So here, competitors, we looked at every competitor, the claims they made. So you see it at the bottom. Equinox did nothing, Carpe Diem did nothing, and so on and so on. We really looked in detail. Next slide. Nice layouts. Next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. Boxes, that's interesting too. One back, because you also have to create that, I thought. So one slide back, yeah. So think about boxes. If you Google, you will find lots of things. Okay, next. And next. What we said to the designer was create a love brand. So that's basically, so we showed him everything. He understood pretty well, okay, this is Jürgen Kombucha, and we want a love brand. So, of course, we have ideas about the company too, but here is most about the brand itself. So then you will see the result. So let's go to the next slide. First, the brand. The why. Think about it. It's always everything starts with why. Very important. I don't know if you ever heard about Simon Sinek. Maybe you had them, the why, how, what. Well, everything starts with why. So here, provide meaningful products that help to create a better world while having fun. While having fun. Very important. Next slide. Values. So here you see how we want to interact with the world, how we want to be a good company. It's about respect, about integrity, about responsibility, but also about being ambitious and lots of other things. Next slide. Target audience. Hans already mentioned, this is how you have to do it. So really, if you think about who's gonna buy that beer, who will drink that, who will pay a lot of money for a specialty beer. Think about personas. We did it for different people, and then you see some categories. You see the income, status, why would Julie buy our product, what is the difference, what are her hobbies, what's she doing online, what socials is she using, and so on and so on. Some details. Really think about those personas. And you see the next slide will be a different one, that's Peter, and then the next slide also some different ones, and not another different one, voila. And as a sum up, so what we looked at, demographics, that's our target audience, very important. Geographic, where will you find them? And well, Hans said, it's Belgium, the Netherlands, and France, if I heard it well. So keep that in mind, because geographically you start in Belgium, but France and the Netherlands are different cultures, so take that into account too. Then you look at behaviors and psychographic information, and bring that all together for the beer brand that you're going to create. So the next one. We looked at the value proposition, functional. We have a wide variety of health benefits, low calories, great tastes, lots of variations. Emotional, trust, natural, healthy, and well, we feel that's feedback from people. They say, okay, I'm happy. I care about myself when I'm drinking Jugend Kombucha. And then it helps for your own identity. It's inspirational. And some people say, I'm feeling like a rock star. So next slide. It's organic, of course. That's not something that was in the briefing of the beer. For us, it's very important. Next slide. Mood boards. How you will communicate, also interesting. And maybe you have to split up your group so that not everybody works on the same thing at the same time, because it's lots of work. Looking for different styles, different mood boards. Here you see fun, color, happy, inspiring, creative, positive, simple. That were the words, associations with these pictures, and the next slide shows them also. Target group, millennials, they like healthy food, low sugars, natural things. They like mindfulness and everything that's eco-friendly and authentic. The next slide. Funky, rebel, activist, naughty, daring, arty, stylish. So it's balancing, and we brought that also in the brand, and we are doing the both at the same time. So the next slide. Here you see the results. These are the first drafts of the designs, and what you see in the first drafts, we were over communicating. You have the 5 words of the ingredients. They're the mango, turmeric, and so on and so on. So you have, we tried to put everything on the bottle, but that didn't work well. So if you go to the next slide, here you see what it was, or what it is today, where we only took the 2 major ingredients, and the other 3 are on the back explained. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So really nice colors. The designs are created by designers all over the world. So these are contests. People can apply. They make a design, and then there's a jury, and the best design comes on the can. We have limited edition cans. We have the regular cans. So that's also something very nice. Always in the same style. Next style, some extra bottles. Here you see how the bottle then end up as in the reality today. And of course, our motto is be one with Mother Earth. The next slide. Our vision. Healthy, sustainable lifestyle. Enhance people's well-being and help Mother Earth. Very important. Think about that too. You have a beer, okay, but maybe you can add some extras, because you need it in your storytelling, your content strategy. You cannot just, hey, drink beer. No, you make a story out of it. The next slide is the mission, and that's what we want to achieve. We want to craft the best fermented beverages for people who give a fuck about their health, their community, and the planet. I never saw the word fuck in a mission. Well, here it is. So it's really well linked to our own style. The next slide. Essence is unity, and that's everything what we do always should be linked, or it should be yeah, that's the check, let's say. So everything we do, we think about, is it in line with this statement? The next slide. From the beginning, that mission and that vision is not just a marketing trick. We started from the beginning with a charity, and so for every bottle that we sell, we put 2 cents in that charity. And we use that money for a good cause, So like last year, 25,000 K, it's not bad because we don't have to do it, but it's just because we feel that, yeah, making the world better, it's not by only making profit. You have to do other things too. So next slide. Here you see some images that we use on socials, and so maybe I think the next slide is also, yeah, we have our own font, also important. La Cambre, Hans told you that they really tweaked the design a little bit, changed the fonts, made it a little bit more simple. Look for that font that they use, and maybe look for an extra font that matches well with the La Cambre logo, because you will need it. Special fonts, help you in creating an identity. The next slide, here you see the social media, and you will see, and also the website. You will see on Instagram, we have lots of posts on Instagram. Also, other people, consumers are happy to send us pictures, share that with the hashtags, and then we can repost them and bring them in our stories. And as Hans said, of course, Facebook and Instagram are not the same. So make in your strategy a plan for the both of them. Think about your content strategy. Think about inspiring people. Think about entertaining people. Think about educating people, because it's all these three that you have to cover. I think that was the last one. Voila, so thank you. I hope it helps you just a little bit, because don't underestimate the assignment that you have. And the biggest work starts now immediately, because I think you have a deadline tonight, from what I saw. So really, go and do your research, and good luck.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you for your lecture. So now we will go on to the hemisphere, so it's across the hallway, and we will start working at our workshop. You can find the assignment, which was briefed by Hans, on Toledo, so it's, and at Teams also. So I wish you guys good luck, and...
Okay, let's go.